Hi, Lauralei in the Lou. Today I'm in a different setting. I'm in my family room, which is my desk in my office, where I work most of the time for real estate. Sorry, itchy. I am going to do a tutorial on bleeding tissue paper to dye your fabric. I think you could try other tissue papers, so I would just test them and make sure that they do run or bleed. But I just got it and it was real cheap. For 25 sheets, I think it was a couple dollars, and you could get them at any art store. I got mine on Amazon. And first I'm going to show you a clip. I have a clip outside with the dogs. Then we'll do the tutorial for the bleeding art tissue paper and to dye fabric. I'm doing Ada because I have a ton of it, and it's easy to see. And so that's what we're doing today. Lauralei in the Lou. Feel free to ask any questions in the drop down. If there's anything that I forgot to cover, just let me know. Thanks. So, this is Flosstube number 4, and the big part of my life is my critters. As I said before, I have 2 dogs, 2 cats. This is supposed to be an action shot, but we are just standing. Oh, there we go. Oh, we don't want to watch him go potty on the tree. Here's a little bit of the flowers. You see the garden. We'll give you... Oh, there's a pretty standing poodle. Just thought, he's looking over there because the neighbors have a critter, a dog. They haven't really met yet. I just bring them out front during the day when they are at work, because the dog seems... It's a black lab, but it seems a little aggressive. But anyway, that's our poodle update. This is Hannah. She's a 6-year-old standard poodle. She is small for a poodle. And this is Dudley, a 2-year-old standard poodle, which he's a little big for a standard. But we'll get on to the stitching. There's my pretty girl. So, this is the video where I am going to show you the prep for dyeing the fabric with bleeding tissue paper. I got a huge thing of Ada. I'm just going to do it with Ada. I don't know that you can buy this anymore by the yard, but this was gifted. And so I need 2 pieces that are 7 by 7. Let me see. So I could make them a little bit bigger. I'm doing this for the wolf. And I wonder, and the meow, I wonder if I should do them both at the same time. That might be a plan. And when you're measuring for the Ada, it's I'm doing like 7.5. 7 is fine, but we'll do 7.5. It's cool because you can just cut on the lines. So the things I'm using, see if I can cut straight here, relatively straight. I am going to wet my fabric. I am going to use a trash bag, any kind of plastic. I'm not paying too attention to the lines. That's good enough. Doesn't have to be major precise. I think in the middle we'll pay more attention to the lines. So I'm going to cut... I think I'll just do the one for Meow. I'm doing the pin cushions for Meow and Wolf, but I'm doing Wolf first. So I need 2 of those pieces. I need one that's 5 inches by like 19. So we will measure. We'll see if this piece I left is 19 to 20. That would be very nice, wouldn't it? Well, actually it is 18, and we need it by 5, so we'll make it 20 big. this way. It's not as big the other way, but it'll be fine. We'll wing it. And this one has the crease, so we'll just... So I have these two pieces. I got this free. That's what I'm using a lot. And when I wet it and dye it, it does shrink up a little bit. But that's fine. Now I'm just going to cut this. I just use like a tall kitchen bag or whatever plastic I have. And I'm just cutting it on the two sides, just so that I can, you know what? Well, I was going to say I almost don't need it, but I could have just, but then I was thinking, oh, I'll try to save a trash bag and reuse it, but that is not necessary because it's going to have dye all over it. So we'll open this up and lay this down. I have used RIT to dye stuff, and I can show you that in another. And I also have done the coffee tea dyed, but on this I'm wanting it a color. I am wanting a little bit brown, but I'm also wanting yellow. So I will go ahead and wet my 3 pieces, wring them out, and I will come back. So what I'm going to use, it's called it might be reverse Spectra Art Tissue. The main thing, it has to be bleeding, and it says it up there at the top. This is 25 assorted colors, and it's pretty cheap. You can get it like at Hobby Lobby, things like that. And I have chosen, it's just tissue paper. I've chosen 3 colors. I am doing a yellow, a light orange, and a brown, because most of the colors are like browns and blacks, and the called for is on a like a brown. Are you helping, Dudley? Dudley's helping. So I just wetted them. I wringed them out a little bit. Don't worry too much about it. So then we just take our tissue paper. I'm going to use just a little bit of brown. I just rip it. So like this one, I'm going to rip it again because I just want a little bit, maybe down at the bottom. So you just lay it however you want it. This one, I'm going to rip it again. I just want little traces of the brown. And we'll put the big strip here. Then I'm going to do, you can layer it on top. You can even like a little piece like that. I just have, we'll layer that there. And it's already making, I really want more of a long one. You just, this one, I guess, maybe I don't. So you can do however you want. And the theory is what's going to happen is the tissue paper will bleed. And you can already see it happening a little bit. It will bleed. And that is the dye. That will make the colors. And if you wanted to do it, if you had a certain thing and you wanted to do it a little bit more precise, then you would cut certain shapes, things like that. But I'm just doing it willy-nilly. People still use that word, and see there, I did too. So it'll be a little bit darker. I don't want that big piece. So I kind of lay it on there and see. It's like, okay. I think I'm done with the orange. Oops. And over here it's getting wet. Yeah, you probably can't see over there. My tissue paper was getting wet. So it's bleeding on the plastic. Okay, so most of mine is going to be yellow, and I'm going to leave some white spaces. We'll put some yellow down. I do also want to leave some white just for a molted look, but you don't have to. So I'm going to put bigger strands of yellow down. And it's fun. You never really know for sure what you're going to get. But I guess it's the same with like coffee, tea, dyed, and those sorts of things. You never know for sure what you're going to get till the very end. I guess this is pretty much the same. On this, we're going to do some yellow on top. This one, I think we're going to use a little bit of orange. And I just kind of see, okay, we need something up there. Need a little bit of orange there. And a strip of orange there. So then when I have it the way I want it, I'm just using plain water. And it's going to fly around. And I am just squirting it down. Beauty of this is it's not set in stone. Any kind of dyeing, well, tea dyeing is probably not as bad, but you need to heat set it when you're done, because when it, see there, I want a little yellow there and it kind of went away. So if you don't heat set this, you could theoretically, it's a big word, isn't it? Can you spell it? You would theoretically be able to kind of rinse most of this off. So this, I can see now what it's looking like. And then see if you might want a little bit more. I decided I want a little bit more browns throughout the piece. And it will be a little bit of molted. You can probably see, like here, how the colors are running. And then if you want to keep layering, or if you like the look, and then it's your option. I want a little bit more brown. just keep working it till it's kind of how you want it. And the more water, the more it bleeds until it's done with the process. So you can manually you can lift it up and see how it's looking. So I don't think I want too dark, so I might, ooh, that looks pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off now. I have never tried to just leave it on. It might be a deeper color saturation if you just left it on. Now at this point, like see if we got any bleed left there. Taking the pieces off and seeing if I want more color somewhere. And then at this stage, I would let it dry. I've even taken it out and put it over. Oh, this one's really pretty. Now, if you see how that kind of, if I wanted to hold it up and show you, then all the colors are gonna run. You can see now it doesn't have a whole lot of color left, but there is some. So I'm going to use one new piece of brown. What do you think? Are we done? I think we are done. So what I'll do now is I'll let it dry. I'm going to let it sit here for at least a couple hours. I will come back and see what it looks like. And you can see it's real wet under there. In a couple hours, I will probably take it off of here. If you have an old towel, in a couple hours you could put it on an old towel and let it dry quicker. So I'll show you the finished product and then I'll show you how I'm going to heat set it. So the fabric is dry and it turned out really good. There is a, we'll see, I didn't iron it yet, just so you can see how, there's a back side, so if you want a more muted tone, I don't know if the color really shows up, and then this one, just kind of look I was going for, it's a little bit darker on the bottom. I think that's a pretty good representation. Of course, if you did it all one color, you could have a less mottled look, but I wanted kind of the mottled look. And then if you didn't like this look, you can do one of two things. You can put it in water and rinse it out. It's not really set yet. And start again. You could put more color on it. And this time, if you wanted to put more color on it, I wouldn't wet the fabric. You would just do a little spritz of the fabric, put down your tissue paper, and then spritz it again. And like I think I already said, if you wanted a deeper, richer tones, darker things, you would leave the tissue paper on as you let it dry for at least 10-15 minutes. And sometimes if I want it dark, I leave it on until it's totally dry. And this, I actually left it on. I didn't hardly leave it on at all. And then I let it sit for about 45 minutes. Then I took it outside and put it over the fence and let it dry real quick. And then it dripped a little bit, so it did take a little bit of the tint out, which was what I was going for, because there's a lot of tans and browns in the project that I'm working on, so I wanted it to be lighter. Here's one I've done, like here's one I've done in the past. This one I was doing for more of a kind of similar, but I did the blues. I did the dark on the bottom. I was going to put the like a cityscape, and it's a lot longer than that, but that is that one. I showed you my Santa Claus one before. This one I did all just in green. And so you can see the modeling. But I think you can get really pretty textures. And then the other one that I did was my skyline. I did pinks and purples and then blue. So you can see kind of the variegation, because I knew I was not going to. The only thing in the background is like these two little clouds, and the rest of it is all, gives it a little bit more texture. So at this stage, what I'm going to do with these is I will iron them to set the color, and I will serge around the edges. I probably won't serge, I'm probably going to zigzag around the edges to set the color. So on my, this is just for the wolf. So this is the top and the bottom. This is probably the top and the bottom. And then this is along the side. So I'll show you those as we go further along. If you have any questions, let me know. And worst case scenario, it's not like you want, you can rinse it out. You can use it for something different. You can start all over. Or you could also, I've done it before where, okay, so you have it this way, and then I would, I ironed it, and then I did a little tea dyeing. I'm afraid if you would do tea dyeing before you set the thing, that the tea would wash some of the, or if you like, it was too dark and you wanted to just have it be the more tea dye look, then you would could put it in the water without setting it, and then it would kind of intermingle. But anyway, that's my video for today. Thanks for watching Lauralei in the Lou.